The war in Gaza continues to escalate, with forced evacuations, tens of thousands dead, and a deepening humanitarian crisis. Workers in Rafah. The Palestinian Red Crescent is demanding an independent investigation. This video breaks down the latest developments in Gaza, the disputed strike on paramedics, and how the war is reshaping the region and global opinion. On April 6th, the Israeli military ordered new evacuations in parts of Deir el-Balah, a central city in the Gaza Strip, after about 10 projectiles were launched into Israel. While there were no immediate Israeli casualties, the military responded with renewed airstrikes and warnings of expanded ground operations. The evacuations are affecting areas previously labeled as safe zones by Israel, places already overwhelmed with thousands of displaced families. This forced movement is deepening the humanitarian disaster in Gaza, now entering its 6th month. Meanwhile, a new controversy is erupting over a deadly incident that occurred on March 23rd near the city of Rafah. 15 emergency workers, including paramedics and rescue personnel from the Palestinian Red Crescent, were found shot dead in a shallow grave. The discovery came a week later, aided by officials from the United Nations and the Red Crescent. Another man remains missing. Initially, the Israeli military claimed that its soldiers opened fire on vehicles that approached their positions suspiciously and without lights. It said 9 militants affiliated with Hamas and Islamic Jihad were traveling in vehicles marked as belonging to the Red Crescent. However, video footage recovered from the phone of one of the victims, and now published by the Palestinian Red Crescent, directly challenges that account. It shows emergency workers in full uniform, clearly marked ambulances and fire trucks with their emergency lights flashing being fired on by Israeli soldiers. The Red Crescent is now calling for an independent investigation, stating that this was a targeted killing of unarmed, identifiable humanitarian personnel, a possible war crime under international law.
Accountability should never require video evidence. It should not take a global outrage for the truth to be acknowledged. The truth was always there. The Palestinian Red Crescent medics were wearing the Red Crescent emblem. They were wearing their uniforms and they were driving ambulances that were clearly marked, and all emergency lights were on. Now the Palestinian Red Crescent Society calls for an independent international investigation. We need justice for the victims, and we need to ensure that all of those who are responsible are held to account. Without this, the crimes will continue to happen. Without this, the systematic targeting for humanitarians, aid workers, and medics will continue to happen.
According to Gaza's health ministry, at least 50,695 Palestinians have been killed and more than 115,000 wounded since October 2023. But the government media office puts the death toll higher, over 61,700, citing thousands still buried beneath rubble, presumed dead. The war's intensity is staggering. Civilian neighborhoods, hospitals, and now even humanitarian convoys are being hit. With over 1.8 million people displaced, the majority of Gaza's population, basic survival is becoming impossible. Medical services are overwhelmed. Hospitals are running on fumes. Food, clean water, fuel, and medical supplies are critically short. Entire families have been lost. The United Nations warns of famine and disease outbreaks. The humanitarian system is collapsing. The impact on civilians has reached historic proportions. Aid trucks are routinely delayed or blocked. Humanitarian workers, including international staff, have been killed. Children are dying from dehydration and malnutrition. Sewage systems have failed. Power is intermittent or non-existent. International organizations, including the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and Human Rights Watch, have all issued urgent warnings. The Red Crescent's call for an investigation into the Rafah incident adds to a growing list of suspected violations of international humanitarian law. Ceasefire negotiations have made little progress, primarily due to disputes over hostage releases, Israeli military objectives, and Hamas's future role in Gaza. Meanwhile, the population is caught in a cycle of bombing, displacement, and disease. The global response remains sharply divided. While the United States continues to back Israel politically and militarily, frustration is growing in Washington and beyond. Protest movements have expanded across major Western capitals. Legal challenges and war crimes accusations are mounting in international courts. What happens next may depend not only on battlefield developments, but on diplomacy, public pressure, and a redefinition of the rules of war in the 21st century. Because what's happening in Gaza is no longer just a regional conflict, it's a moral crisis unfolding in real time.